Yo, what's up, everybody? Scotty, good looking loser, coming at you with another video on a Friday night. Something's really fresh in my mind that I want to touch on real quick. Basically, this whole concept that we should heavily rely on online dating and adjust and concede to the modern dating landscape, which is basically all digital, especially if you're outside of New York and stuff like that, which is very rare. But for the most part, how you should adjust to times. And I'm not saying online dating isn't big everywhere. It really is. You can really only get away from it in certain cities, in my honest opinion. And the reason this agenda is being pushed on everybody, everywhere you look, no matter where you're looking, if you're interested in such matters, it's being heavily pushed upon us, is because most guys that are doing the pushing, haven't at least fucked 100 girls off cold approach, right? I'm just throwing a number out there, but I've had a decent amount of success fucking girls off cold approach. So that is being pushed heavily upon us. That's basically like a woman, we're conceding to the woman at that point. That's her wheelhouse. She doesn't have to deal with guys. She gets to, you feed into her imagination. You're giving her so many outs when you start to play that game with her. It brings the absolute coward out within all human beings, not male or female. You get to see the very worst of each person. It's something we're not too proud of, that we're all about looks and stuff like that. That's basically what online dating is. It's just based 100% on looks, right? So that's something we're not absolutely proud of. So we're not getting the best impression of each person right from Jump Street, off rip. And the fact that we concede to it is really not a great look. It gives the woman, who's generally more passive aggressive, an easy way out. Okay, you're this, you're that. You're giving her so many escapes. All you have at that point is your verbal game. They can't see you. It's basically two imaginary people at that point, up until the point of meetup. By the way, all that stuff can be instantly bypassed in person, which is good. Here's where the dating world has got that wrong, how good cold approach is for people, and to get that skill under your belt. It's not just for dating. I don't even give a fuck about results. I don't care if some guy comes along and says he's fucked 5 to 1,000 women off fucking online. Missing the point. It's a pussy move to make that your number one source. You're not building men. It builds people. You're not building character, and that's what cold approach does. It lets you show who you really are right away, instantly. Girl could size you up. You could size the woman up. Sure, there's some vetting to be done down the road if she's going to stick around. But as far as even the door open to have the opportunity to sleep with the woman, sex before a relationship always. So, except some weird cases. And that's the benefits of going out and practicing cold approach and getting that skill, sharpening that skill under your belt. Online dating is really bad, man. Honestly, I could go into this video. We could go on forever on all the negative, all the drawbacks and setbacks it does for people. Anyway, to give you an example, just recently, a good-looking guy that I met in the industry, he's basically an online guy. He sleeps with a lot of women online, and he's basically said to me he's on cruise control. He's got no need to learn cold approach. He doesn't even care, because he's getting just enough sex or whatever, satisfied just enough. And but when he goes out, you could tell it's eating him alive. He can't even walk up to a hot girl he sees, and he's in California or whatever, like these hot women he came and walked up. So there's so many drawbacks, despite just being able to get your dick wet. Like the building character aspect that Cold Approach provides is huge. So this idea that, oh, it's a waste of time, or now we got to adjust to social media and this and that, that's fine and dandy. I'm not saying it has zero plays, but if that's your number one way of sourcing girls, and it's just weak. It's weak-minded. You're conceding to the woman at that point. You're not able to even present yourself, and you're also missing the big point, which is that Cold Approach builds so much more character in you than just relying on the internet, being an internet fucking dweeb and being brainwashed and plugged into whatever computer, whatever you want to call it, fucking Matrix, I don't give a shit, but it's basically the starting point is the woman. These guys love to talk about frame control and all that. That's the woman's frame. That's a feminine man who either invented it or a woman, and your starting point is basically conceding to her. Run wild with your imagination. You can just ghost guys left and right, this and that. It's just, so much so that the woman could even say, this is a bad vibe, I don't like it. All of a sudden texting and emails are bad vibes. I mean, these women are cowards. Remember, they're passive by nature. They're cowardly by nature. So they don't feel like they owe it to anybody to be stand up with you. And that's why you get to see that stuff rather quickly when you just make eye contact initially with the woman and look her dead in the eye and have a face-to-face conversation with her. There's so much that goes into that. All right, so the point of this is really just, as hard as it is, I think the guys pushing this agenda are guys who weren't that successful with cold approaching and were able to see all the benefits it actually brought as a man and building character. So then they're pushing that, it doesn't work. Guys that got real sour and said, this is the new way of life. We have to adapt and we need to this and that, and it's foolish to do cold approach. That's, to me, they just never got to see the full picture and the big picture of what cold approach was able to bring to the table and how it builds men and character, and not submit to the woman's frame, which is just to be ultimately passive and not act. Not act on anything. Women do not act. They sit back and they don't have to do anything, really. They just sit back and look pretty and hope, and then they just get a bunch of propositions since middle school once they start to develop, basically. So you're conceding to the woman's frame when you're based solely on the internet, if that's your only way to meet women. And that's why it eats a lot of these guys alive. I know plenty of guys, especially some clients of mine, that are getting laid online. Right, but it's still eating them alive that they can't walk up to the girl in the grocery store. So that's the point that people are missing here. That skill needs to be developed regardless, of if you're getting your dick wet off the internet, in my honest opinion, and from what I've seen in other guys that are tortured by this, that they haven't been able to do it, or they're still bothered by not able to talk to a girl at the gym and hit on a girl in the gym. So it's an invaluable skill that needs to be developed in all of us, man. So enjoy your night, man. Peace out. Like, follow, subscribe, and come out you with more videos. Peace, man.